Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another Minecraft video, and in this one we're going to be doing something very special indeed. This is something that I've wanted to do for an incredibly long time, and that is to create a floating fortress. Now this video is going to work just a tiny bit differently to all of the other how to make videos that I've done, in that I have not built this before this video. Okay, so generally speaking, when I do these videos, I build the entire thing in another world beforehand, exactly the same, and then in the video, I basically reference back to that one and show you guys how to build it. In this one, we're going to do something slightly different. I'm going to be building the redstone freehand. I'm sort of going to take you through the thought processes and me trying to work out how everything is going to fit together. Now, I hope that ends up being a really cool and interesting video. If it doesn't, then, well, that's a shame, and you probably will never see this clip right here. So anyway, let's pop on inside and take a look at what I've got going on so far. And as you can see, it's not a lot. I mean, we have got a hole under our lovely little house right here, and we have got a bunch of space down at the bottom to make way for all of the weapons and all of the traps that we're going to be building here. This is a fortress, okay? It doesn't look like a fortress, that's the point of it. But this needs to be super defensive, killer fortress style thing, because we don't want any other players coming up here. So I think first things first, TNT. TNT will make a very good start. Alright, so I've formulated a bit of a plan, and that is to create TNT launchers that are going to shoot out the bottom of this flying fortress right here, which I think makes a very good start indeed. So in theory, all I'll have to do is I'll have like a redstone torch on the side of this block right here, and that should power all of our pistons, and then when we flick this lever, we can open that up, and that will fire the TNT cannon out like this, and it will explode somewhere down there. And I'm going to be doing that on a bunch of the corners of this build, so we're going to have one over in this area, and I would say, I mean, if we just do some slight terraforming right here, we can make it so that these places are perfect for the TNT launchers. The only thing that I will say is that in that situation, I don't actually know if it's going to fit. Because the way that I'm going to do the TNT launcher is I'm going to have a dispenser facing upwards, probably around about here. And then we'll have a sticky piston with a slime block on its face, and we'll do the same thing in this area and over here as well, which means that, yeah, we're really not going to be left with much space in this area down here, which is fine because this is literally 100% for defense systems. But I have to say, I think, yeah, we might be running a little bit low if we were to do it in that area, even if we do it here. That's just a little bit too tight, isn't it? So we might only be able to have 3 of these launchers. Maybe one in the center on this side? Yeah. I must admit there is not as much space down here as I was expecting. I think I've come up with a system that works pretty nicely. So we've got ourselves a hole for the TNT. That there is our slime block launcher system. And that will shoot the TNT outwards, and obviously our piston door will open up and everything like that. So we have some redstone down there. We're going to place down our button, and that looked pretty promising to me. Now, one of my first tests went successfully. The second one didn't, and it almost blew up the whole side of our island. So let's just see, does this thing work reliably? I mean, it looks like it does. We are definitely creating a new mine shaft down there. And it is completely concealed from the edge of the island. That thing's amazing. Right, I'm going to crack on and build the other sets of those things right there, and then I'll quickly talk through how it all works. Now, I must admit, things are looking a little bit cramped already, but we have one TNT launcher. We have TNT launcher number 2, which I actually haven't stocked up with TNT just yet, so we'll leave that alone. We have TNT launcher number 3, which I don't actually know if that TNT took off. Yep, looks like it did. So we are creating lots of bomb holes all over the place right here. And as I say, completely hidden away from the outside of the island. That thing looks fantastic. Right, let's pop back inside. We can start work on some of the other redstone contraptions. And I'm thinking maybe we could just have some TNT droppers down underneath right here. Things have gotten extremely tight in this area right here, but if we pop down to the bottom, you can see that we have got working TNT dropper systems, and these things are super ridiculously simple. So we just have redstone going across the top of a dispenser, and then we also have a redstone torch that is powering this sticky piston. So when we power the redstone, dispenses the TNT, retracts the piston, dropping our TNT downwards. And we have got 2 of these systems, both of which are activated by redstone up at the top here. So all of our buttons are on exactly the same level. So we hit this button, that launches the TNT off into the distance, I hope. It doesn't blow us up. And then this one activates that one. Then this one activates that one down there. This one activates that one down there. And this one activates that one there, which I still need to fill in with TNT. Right, let's try again. Good. Okay, that is flown right away off into the distance. So right now, we have got a densely compacted TNT explosion unit that is... Well, this thing's lethal. This is like the control panel. It's ugly. It's redstone all over the place, but it works. So now I think what I might try and do is add in a few extra bits up at the top. I kind of want to add in just arrow shooting areas. Maybe even like mob turrets. Yeah, that could work quite nicely. But before any of that goes on, I think it would probably be a good idea to add in some lava systems as well. So we're going to have lava flowing down from this thing. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to have sticky pistons there. I would say a sticky piston right there because that is a direct drop down. Sticky piston on this corner. Awesome. This is all working out really, really well. Now over here. Yeah. Sticky piston right about there, and if we just flick a lever, in theory, I don't think there's anything underneath these or anything that should cause these to be an issue, because that block that's being powered is way above these pistons, so it shouldn't have any bug powering, so that should be okay. This one is a tiny bit more difficult, so we might need to do something a little bit like this. Because otherwise, that block right there will power those pistons, and that will break that system. Alright, so we have that one done. Now this one should be fine. I don't think there's any pistons under that, so we can flick that lever. Good stuff. We've got the retraction there, and this one, we can just place a lever on this block. And there we go. We have ourselves a bunch of piston retraction systems. So now I'm just going to place in the lava in each one of these corners. And then when we want to, we can activate various different lava drops. This was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Oh, no. No. Oh, dear. My house. Game rule. Do fire tick false. Oh. Well, that's a lesson learned. So, now that I've reconstructed my house, let's just pop straight inside and we will flick all of these levers and see what happens with all of the lava. Now, I can see a little bit of lava flowing out, but we should just have like a full-on flow right the way down to the bottom. Wow! This is awesome. So, if a player was pillaring up, we could sort of scare them a little bit by dropping the lava down, because that would be really, really scary. But then also, we could throw some TNT into the mix and chuck that down as well. I mean, this thing is lethal. This is a brutal little fortress island. Now, what I've tried to do here to the best of my ability is cover up the entire floor area so that there's nowhere that we can fall down. Because right now, this thing is a big redstone mess, and there's no reason for you to go in any of the areas because all of it is, of course, redstone activated. I mean, oh, no. No! No! Oh, my word. I've got a lot of building to do. For about the 5th time in today's episode, everything has been rebuilt. Everything is now working once again, and yes, I have covered up all of the floor, but this time I've made sure to place a movable object next to our slime blocks. That was a schoolboy error there. I think for the time being, we have done enough stuff down at the bottom here. I mean, this is about as lethal and as cramped as you can possibly get. So now we're going to pop up to the top, and we're going to do a little bit of work on the surface. Now, the first thing that I want to do is, in our little hut right here, I want to create a really fast armor equipping station. Now, I imagine it's going to be as simple as that, and as per usual, I tell you now, okay, they really need to change the key for the inventory swapping thing, because if you just try and travel down in creative mode and then go to the next slot in your hotbar, it changes the entire hotbar, and it drives me completely nuts. It's been happening so often recently, and it keeps messing with my flow in my videos. But anyway, we're going to need helmets, we're going to need chest plates, we're going to need leggings, and we're going to need boots, and we want to place all of those into each one of these dispensers right here. And I guess we should give it a test. So right now I'm naked, we walk in, we hit the button, we're equipped, and then we walk back out. Super speedy, we can attack anyone who comes onto our little island. So now, what should we do next? I feel like we need a little bit of extra help up at the top here. Maybe we could have like dispensers facing upwards that will attack players from coming in from the skies. Yeah, that could work quite nicely. Or maybe even some dispensers coming down from the roof. Now, I've got to say, this one is going to be a tight redstone contraption. Once again, we're going to have very little space to play with right here. But what I imagine we can do... You see, I was going to do a torch burnout. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do it with the space that we have available to us. So we need to have... Yeah, see these blocks right here, they're transparent blocks, which means that we can't do a torch burnout clock. Is there anything that we can do to power those dispensers up at the top there without messing with this redstone right here? You know, that has actually given us more space to play with. In fact, yes, we can actually create a torch burnout clock in this spot now that we've done that by just doing this. I think that should work. Redstone torches on either end. We can even have a redstone torch on this side as well. And then redstone dust in the middle. Yes! We've got a fully automatic dispensing system up at the top there as well that doesn't fiddle with any of these dispensers. I mean, this is compact redstone at its finest. Right, so I've added in a few extra dispensers right here, and if we flick this lever, we can see that, yes, that is absolutely spectacular. Wow. We shower our island, our roof, and those trees over there and those trees over there with arrows. Awesome. Okay, I feel like we need a few more of those arrow dispensers though, because that would be like a really good way to defend against players actually on the island. So we should have like a dispenser facing upwards, probably about there, a dispenser facing upwards around about here, and one on this side as well. It would be nice if we could conceal them using pistons, but I don't think that's going to be possible. So I guess we should try our best to hook those up with redstone, which does mean that we are going to have to go underneath once again. Oh, my word. I mean, how am I even going to power that? My plan for the redstone clock is as follows. We have got a hopper. Yes, 2 hoppers running back and forth into one another, a comparator, then we have an observer, which will give an update when the comparator turns on and the comparator turns off, which makes this redstone clock twice as fast, which means that, I mean, it's not quite as fast as, say, something like this, but it's pretty quick. Although, we could just use an observer clock. Give me a second. Now, I would say I have successfully covered pretty much every surface in this underground area right here, but amazingly enough, it does all still work. So this lever, good. This lever over here should be activating that one, which that just turned it off. Yep, that dispenser's working. This one, good stuff, and this one. Alright, let's fill all of these in with arrows and just see what it looks like when all of them are firing. So I've actually logged in with the second account right here, and it is in exactly the same land world so that we can go through all of the redstone contraptions that are in this fortress right here, and you can see all of them firing off, because I feel like that is fairly important. Now I have made a backup of the world just in case everything goes very wrong, which there is a chance that will happen. We've got lots of TNT happening here. But first off, let's activate all of the arrow dispensers. So that one right there is an arrow dispenser. That one right there is an arrow dispenser. This one over here is an arrow dispenser. And this one over here is also an arrow dispenser, which is, yeah, I mean, straight away, that looks completely bonkers. But it gets better, because now we can activate the first TNT shooter thing, which, actually, that one doesn't have any TNT in it. Still, how does it still not have TNT? Alright, this one. TNT just flew out. Alright, this one. TNT just flew out over there as well. And we had some TNT activation going on down underneath, which is a little bit strange. If we hit this button, we should get TNT dropping down out the bottom. This button over here should activate TNT dropping out down the bottom as well. And then, right, okay, let's start activating the lava falls as well. Lava here, lava there, lava on this one as well, and lava on this one. I mean, look at this thing! This is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever built. We are getting some serious frame rate issues here, but would you attack someone who had this sort of crazy equipment? I don't feel like I would. I genuinely don't think I would. One of our lava things isn't flowing out though, which is a little bit strange. Oh, okay, sorry, I placed in a block accidentally, so there we go. There is the full working super fortress. I mean, this really is a floating fortress. This thing is absolutely lethal. I feel sorry for anyone who comes into contact with this thing. Unfortunately, we have now run out of arrows, but this thing is still amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.